finding the highest common factor and lowest common multiple using prime factor trees. If you're asked to find the highest common factor or lowest common multiple of two large numbers, it is best to use a prime factor tree, a method you will have seen on an earlier clip. So let's have a look at an example. Let's find the highest common factor and lowest common multiple of the number 84 and 126. So I've just mentioned that we do this by using the prime factor trees. So let's do that for these two numbers. Now, to work out the factor tree for the number 84, I have to see what will divide into 84. Now, I always start off with my prime numbers. So I try the number 2 first of all, which works. So 2 into 84 goes 42 times. So remember, once you have a prime number, you circle it and you make it a cherry. So then we go to the 42. Does 2 divide into 42? Yes, it does. So 2 divides into 42 21 times, and that gives us another cherry. So then we move on to 21. So does 2 divide into 21? No, it doesn't. 3, yep, 3 does. So 3 into 21 goes 7 times. Oh, look, we have another cherry. So 3 is our cherry, and so 7. So we're finished. So now that we have our prime factors for the number 84, let's move on to 126. So once again, start off with the number 2 to see if that divides into 126. Yes, it does. And we now have the prime factors of the number 126 as well. The next step is to put the prime factors of each number into a Venn diagram. The prime factors which are in both numbers go in the overlap here. So we have a 2 in this one, and also the 126. 84 has a 3 and another 3 over here, and they both share the number 7. So these three numbers go into the overlap here. As you can see, we've only put the number 2, 3 and 7 in once. Because it's in the overlap, that means it's both in 84 and 126. So we wouldn't write it twice in here. So from here, what we do now is we add the remaining numbers into the diagram. So we have a 2 here, so 2 goes in here. We have a 3 over here, so the 3 goes in here, and that is all my numbers. Okay, now it's always a good idea to cross them out so that you know you've added all the numbers into the Venn diagram. Now, to find the HCF, you multiply the numbers in the overlap together. So you've got a 2, 3 and a 7. So we have 2 times 3, which is 6, times 7, which is 42. Now for the LCM, you have to multiply all the numbers you can see. So it's a 2 here, 2 there, 3, 7 and another 3 there. Remember, when multiplying lots of numbers together, it's always a good idea to start with the bigger numbers. So 7 times 3 is 21. 21 times 3 is 63. 63 times 2 is 126. And 126 times 2 is 252. So my lowest common multiple of 84 and 126 is 252. Let's look at another example. So let's look at 90 and 70. So the first thing I have to do is I have to complete my cherry trees. So I've done my cherry tree for number 90 and the number 70. So once I've done that, I then move to my Venn diagram. So remember, all the numbers which occur in both numbers will go in the overlap here. So we have a 2 in both numbers, and we also have a 5 here, which is in both numbers. So these will go in the overlap. So I now have put my 2 and 5 into the overlap. So that means it occurs in the 90 and it also occurs in the 70. So all that's left for me to do now is put in the other numbers. So this 3 and 3 will go in here. Then we have the 7 here, which will go in here. And before you go any further, just check that you've put all the numbers into the circles. This is why it's helpful to cross them out, like I have done. So the HCF are the numbers in the overlap, so that's 2 times 5, which is 10. And then all the numbers I can see, which is 3, 3, 2, 5 and 7, are the LCM. So the LCM is 630. Now it's your turn to answer some questions. Pause the video and try these. How did you get on? Here are the answers. If you answered any incorrectly, have a look back through the video and try them again.